So I'm Michael. I'm going to be talking to Rosie here, who's holding the paintbrush, about how she might approach painting a few pieces of fruit the size that they are, life size rather than the size that she sees them. So
are these two pieces of paper the same size then?
Yeah, I thought we had a spare. We could do two at once, Rosie. That'd be a lovely challenge for you. So first of all, Rosie, I'd like you to mix up, squeeze out 3 colours plus white. We're just going to be using 3 colours because that's how I like to paint, and Rosie's going to be following my instructions, aren't you? So we want a bit more paint than that, Rosie.
A bit more paint.
Yeah.
I was being a bit stingy. It is Old Holland. Can't even read that. What does it say?
It's more or less
medium yellow. Scheveningen yellow.
Yeah,
medium.
It's a cheaper version of cadmium yellow light.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is cheap.
Cheaper. Cadmium yellow light is quite expensive, relatively.
It's very rude, Michael. Just by the way, watchers.
I have to say.
And this one is Old Holland magenta.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, it's a nice cold red. Bit more red than that.
Bit more. Goodness, yes, we've got orange, I suppose.
Unfortunately, a lot of paint has to be scraped off and go in the bin. It's very sad.
A bit of Jackson's Artist Oil Colour, cobalt blue hue.
Yep.
Number 52, in fact. No?
Very good. Yeah. Plus a bit of lovely flake white, a nice warm white.
Nice warm white, flake white. This is Wallace Seymour.
The best.
Is it?
Pretty
Good.
much.
You didn't like Wallace Seymour yellow one,
No,
unfortunately.
that was the wrong colour.
Very precise about what's the right and wrong colours. Right, I've got my brush.
So what I'd like you to do is dip it in a bit of oil thinner, just on the tip. Okay. And then mix 3 primary colours together to get a nice dark, no white, Rosie. White's not allowed at this point.
Sorry.
Okay.
3 primary colours and I go for white.
That'll do. So we want to do a few outlines really, so it's nice that it's clear and dark. If you want to hold the brush at the very end.
Like that?
Yeah. So Rosie, I'd like you to physically go up and measure Satsuma 1 and figure out what the overall width of it is from left to right. So yeah, measure it on your brush like so between your thumb and the end of the brush, and then take that over to the canvas and do 2 vertical lines.
Okay.
Easy.
But now I've lost my spot.
Well, go and do it again. Take your time. This is the key width, the important thing.
Key width.
Yeah. It's the key to the rest of the very laborious measuring and comparing. Okay, so
that's all right.
2 vertical lines from top to bottom, please. And can you just check that that's right?
Oh, I'm not.
No tidying up is allowed.
My mother has a lot to answer.
Yeah, great. Well done.
That's a first.
So what I'd like you to do is, from where you're standing, I'd like you to compare on your brush the interval between orange 1 and orange 2, and see how many times on your brush the interval between 2 and 1 will compare to orange 1. So how many times will that small interval go into your first orange?
If my hand would stop wobbling, I could get. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half.
4.5. Okay, so
Shall I measure it again?
yeah, that's a good idea. Double and triple check your measurements.
4.
Are you measuring the top or the bottom or the middle?
The fattest bit. Is that the widest point? 4.5, I make it.
Great. So now comes a slightly challenging bit. You've got your key width on your canvas, your piece of card, and I'd like you to get the interval between the two from that width. So deciding how many times that interval will go into that width that you've got in your brush. It's slightly more difficult when it goes into it 4.5 times.
So I've got to take that measurement.
Yeah, that's
there, and then divide it by 4.
4.5. Yeah.
That's half, and a bit less, and
Yes.
then so sort of that much.
Okay. Yeah, that looks about right. And now put another.
Let's just check against that. Yeah, that's about right.
And now put a line down for that interval.
Okay. All the way from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, great stuff.
Oh, wobbly.
So what I find is these little distances are often closer together than I think. So now that you've got that.
Yes, it looks much closer than I think. Yeah, in fact, it should be very fractionally to the left of that.
Okay.
But
Do you want to
do another version?
Yeah. Okay. Good one.
Thank you.
So now I'd like you to measure on your brush how many times, well, how does the second Satsuma 2 compare to Satsuma 1? But by holding out your brush and measuring between the tip of your brush and your thumb, how big that second Satsuma is compared to the first one.
The second one is just to the right of the gold band on my brush. And
so which is
this one, it goes to the middle of the gold band on my brush. I'm going to double check that because that can't be right. Oh, wobbling arms. Yes. Yeah, okay. That's the width of the middle, number 2.
So the question is, how much are they the same size, or is one slightly bigger?
The number 2 is slightly bigger.
So now you have to translate that using your key width on your canvas.
Okay.
So you have to find a width that is slightly bigger than the one on your canvas, and that will be the width of Satsuma 2.
To there is the same width, and then I've got to add a bit, so
Probably only very slightly bigger though. So
slightly there. Is that okay? And do I do a line?
Yeah, vertical line. Great. And now
I've got to have my toes in the same place on the ground always.
the same comparison now between Satsuma 1 and Satsuma 3, using your brush to compare between your thumb and the end of your brush, the two respective widths. So you compare the widths on your brush first of all, and you decide, are they the same width, or is one slightly bigger or one slightly smaller?
Interesting. Hard to say because the left hand, number 3, is slightly behind number 2.
So there's a slight overlap.
So you take to what you measure what you can see, not what you think is there, presumably.
Yeah, you have to paint what you see.
And I'm doing it at the fattest part, so it keeps changing it slightly. It's a matter of millimeters. Okay, that I think, is the same, interestingly.
Okay, so do you want to put another vertical line down to indicate where?
So, but I take the key width. If that's the same as that, then I have to take that measurement and put it here, do I?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And I'm confused because I've been told to hold my brush with the painty bit at the other end, which means I can't use this measurement to put the mark on. So I have to turn the brush round.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll need a bit more paint, I think.
No, it's fine, Rosie.
Okay.
Okay, good job.
Good job.
Okay, so now I'd like you to, I suppose, do you want to put the satsumas at the bottom of your piece of paper or closer to the top?
I think sort of there. Please.
Of course. So what I'd like you to do is place a bottom line on Satsuma 1, a line at the bottom for where that's going to rest. I'd like you to put a horizontal line that marks the bottom of the first
Okay,
Satsuma.
so I'm going to. Do you need me to measure?
No measuring at this point.
Okay, so just do that.
Yeah, just a horizontal line across. That will be the very bottom of your first Satsuma. So now I want you to compare the height to the width of the first Satsuma, but doing it on your brush first of all.
Okay.
So you see
not actual, but with the locked arm.
Exactly, between your thumb and the tip of the brush, how many times will the width go into the height, or is it that the height is slightly smaller than the width?
Okay, so that's the width, and the height is, am I including the stalk in this measurement or not?
Stalk can go on afterwards.
Stalk goes on after. Nope, it's slightly shorter than it is wide.
Great.
Curious.
So can you translate that using your key width on your piece of canvas?
So that, and that is the same, and you want it slightly shorter, so
yeah,
something like that.
Great. Do you want to check that again, that it's slightly shorter?
Okay. Yeah, quite a lot shorter, maybe too much. Put it slightly higher.
No.
Okay.
So now.
Okay, Maestro.
So now I want you to decide how much higher or lower down the Satsuma 2 is than Satsuma 1.
It is slightly lower because it's fatter, so it comes further forward.
Okay, so do you want to hold your brush underneath the 2 Satsumas to see how much higher or lower they are than each other, and then take that angle back to your canvas? You could do that.
The angle of difference. Okay, so I touch the bottom of each with my brush.
Yeah.
And take that.
Like a reversing arrow, yeah. And that can tell you how much.
So then do I do that angle?
Well, I would do, bottom line.
The bottom line across?
I think you might have overdone it a bit.
Might I? Okay, well, it did get a bit confused, didn't it?
So yeah, just double and triple check that angle, because things are often less than you think.
Actually, slightly more than I thought.
Sure.
Do you not believe me? I am looking at it from a different angle.
It's your painting, Rosie.
It's my truth.
Your lived truth.
Your lived experience, isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, great. And for the Satsuma 3, how much lower down is that than Satsuma 1? Because we're comparing everything to Satsuma 1, really.
Oh, so it has Satsuma 3 versus Satsuma 1.
That's right.
Okay. No, actually it's.
So just take that angle back to the canvas, yeah.
So
a horizontal line. Great.
Like that. Okay.
So the one in the middle is lower down than both of them, you think?
Yes. Well, from my angle, because I'm looking down at it, and it's fatter, so it comes further forward, which brings it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So now I'd like you to do the same to the top of Satsuma 1 and the top of Satsuma 2 with your brush. Compare the relative height of each of them. How low down is it? How high up is it?
So you're not doing it by measuring, you're doing it by the angle, the direction of your brush.
Yeah, this bit is easy compared to the first bit.
I don't think so. Okay, there.
So we're boxing it in. Great.
Just check that. Hang on, that's changed. Ah, no, it should be more like that.
Sure.
No, it's what my eye is telling me.
So I want a horizontal line, yeah? Just so that you're clear on what the top of it is.
Yes, okay.
And can you do one at the bottom for me as well? A horizontal line.
Yeah.
Just so that you're clear on what's the top and what's the bottom.
Okay. And a bit more of this. So this one you want me to go over?
Or just so that you're clear what's top,
Yeah.
the top and what's the
And
bottom.
that's the top one.
So I sort of think that that might
I
not
think
be
that's
quite
wrong.
right.
Mm.
Yeah. So
So
I
do
think
I. It's really odd.
maybe look again. Is this one in the middle a bit lower down?
I'm looking from behind you, Rosie, and you move your angle as you move your arm.
Do I? Okay, that's interesting. I wonder why I do that.
Because you're moving your
You
arm.
haven't practiced enough, Rosie.
So now you've changed it.
Yeah. It's weird. I can't do it. How do I do it? It's very strange.
Keep your arm locked there and move your body.
Yeah, you have to concentrate on keeping that angle and just move it back to the.
It's changed. Okay, go up with the angle, straight up. You flattened it out.
I can't seem to do it. What about doing it in a different way and measuring the height of it?
That might take a little while.
Or doing it across from
Am I
1
changing
to
it?
3. Yeah. Do from 1 to 3, missing out number 2. See what that angle is. See if it's above or below the middle one.
It's weird. I'm completely not aware of moving it as I go, even when I concentrate and look. How complicated am I moving it? Yes, I am. Because it's okay. If I don't block my arm, maybe that's better.
Yeah, that's much better.
That's better. Okay, so
You corrected it down. No, don't put. Oh, sorry, I'll be
okay,
quiet.
no, that's okay. I'll do it again. If I look at the brush,
Moved it again.
very odd.
Can I suggest another way of doing it?
Yes, I think
But
you need
start,
to,
put
'cause I
your
just
hand,
keep doing
put
the
your
same
hand
thing.
down to the 3, measuring the 3.
But right down like
No,
that.
no, as you were doing it.
As I was doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can see that the tip of the brush is below your thumbnail.
From my angle, it's above it. It's about level with my knuckle.
That's a problem then, really. I mean, it's definitely lower. And then you've picked it up and it's now higher.
That's exactly the same on my hand.
Hmm.
That's really odd. I don't know what to do about that.
Okay, let's see if it happens when I do it. Now I'm intrigued.
So it's on the 2 stars. Yeah.
Yeah. So from there to there. So I've got it about there, below. Is that right? Maybe not. Did I get it? This end is what you're starting with. That end, you were correcting like that, but you should take it to there and
Yeah.
see what this end's doing.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
I'll have
not quite
another
sure
go.
how I would translate that in a very simple way.
Put my toes on the marks on the floor as required.
Yep.
So I'm in the same position, locked arm.
You can relax it as you move it, because I think that's what's you're locking as you move it. Look how it looks against your hand. And you want the same angle when you take it up there. And your thumb is going, yeah, that's much better.
There.
Yeah. You see how it's lower?
Yes.
So do you want to put that line across horizontally?
Gosh,
Yeah.
sorry, that took an awful long time.
No, it's a problem everybody has. And
Oh, good.
And I do think
Not just my special problem.
it may not be right, but we'll go on.
maybe compare that, the top of that to
But
the one in the
from
middle.
what from my angle, it's down to the middle one and up to the right hand one. But that's not how it appears on here now.
But I think maybe you should try the same method again on the middle one.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to measure off the left hand one, may I?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Maestro. Oh, no, sorry, come on.
Might be a left hand, right hand thing, you know. I'm not sure. Maybe we should start.
That's a better. But then you changed it.
Did I?
Yeah, halfway up you changed it. You got it absolutely right, and then you panicked. Look at that. Much better.
And so the middle one's definitely lower.
Yeah.
That's more like it, isn't it? Sorry, wonky line, need a bit more paint. I'm going backwards and forwards just because I haven't got enough paint on my brush.
I do think you probably need to check the first one again. Because it looks a bit round to me. Check the top
Compared to the others or against itself?
compared to the other two.
So the direction again.
Compare the top of Satsuma 1 to the Satsuma 2.
The high points.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've got to do this horrendous thing again.
Okay. That looks better.
So that's got to be a bit lower.
Yeah. Maybe even more. And can you check the bottom one, the bottom of Satsuma 2 to Satsuma 1?
It's also remembering what bit you're comparing it against, isn't it, on the page? Oh, sorry, what were you saying just then?
Can you compare the bottom of Satsuma 2 to Satsuma 1?
Okay, that one again. Underneath. Quite wrong also.
Okay.
So that goes up. Is that better, Michael?
Yeah, that looks better.
So I need to take off some of these excess
Just spread
lines.
them out so that you can see which ones you mean. You need more paint.
Yeah, someone ages ago told me a different way slightly. And when you go back with a new measurement, do it in a slightly different colour.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that one's out.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't want to be locked away.
No, but it's obvious that it's
Yeah,
reject.
and this one's a reject.
Okay, so now make sure that you've got enough paint in the brush.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would like you to do is carve the oranges out of the boxes as if you were cutting a diamond. So from the making sure that your lines go up to the edges of the boxes, chop away at the boxes.
How do you do that?
What sometimes helps is holding the brush against the sides of the satsumas so that I know which general angle they're going in. That can help.
I start by working out where the satsuma is going to hit that particular side. You know, where the widest point or the highest point is along that line. Are you with me? It may not help at all. That's how I do it.
Is that okay what I'm doing?
Yeah, just put them in not too laboriously, just looking for the big shapes within the boxes.
come round here and see better if you want.
Yeah, I think I might do that. Okay, leave that one alone now, Rosie. Do the middle one.
From my angle, I feel it's more vertical than it's ended up by being. I must have wonky eyes.
I think the angle on the right is less acute than you've got it.
This one,
Yeah,
flatter.
it's cleaving closer to the edges. Yeah,
So there and then down.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes it taller immediately. So that's better. Yeah.
Go on to the one in the middle.
So that one has a 5 point to go over to the left slightly.
So just carving it
Okay.
out as simply as you can.
And then that.
Yeah.
And then that. Oh, it's the upper line I'm going for, isn't it?
So do the other side now, Rosie.
There.
Yep.
And then quite steeply down. It's amazing how angular they are, isn't it?
You can almost get the feeling of the segments inside. When you
Yes.
start looking at those.
So maybe leave that one alone now and go for the one on the end.
Potato. Right, okay, so again, slightly off to the left.
Is the one on the end slightly cleaving into the one in the middle? Is there a
Yes,
bit
it
slight
is.
overlap?
Yes, so, and I've only drawn,
So I do that line
so
cutting
that
into the.
has to
middle
go a
one.
bit further out of the box, doesn't it? Because the actual,
I think you need to
upper
move
edge
those
bit.
two lines nearer to the one in the middle.
which two lines?
You have to move Satsuma 3 fractionally nearer to the
So
one in the middle.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that, and then down, and then a nice easy. Yes. kind
Yep,
of.
good. And then slightly further away from that line.
Is that what you meant? What do you mean further away from that line?
It's the line at the very end needs to be a bit further to the right so that the box.
This one
Yeah,
needs to be a bit further to the right.
yeah.
So then that has to come in a bit. Yes, that's right, because it was getting a bit too fat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this one goes up and like that.
Yeah, and I think also the middle one, the interval between the two needs to be a bit wider. So
Bring this in a bit,
yeah,
or the line. You want me to draw the line in a bit nearer?
yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would improve its shape.
You need more paint on your brush, Rosie.
Yes, thank you. So, and go down. Little short one there. And a little fat bit just there. Just take you out to the line. And then that. Yeah.
That's better.
Gosh, you're already looking like clementines, oranges, whatever we're calling them.